Hello, I'm Lawrence Cederstrom and I'm the host of the All Around Grant Show. Today we're going to be reviewing some parades because it's nearing the end of the parade season, and we're going to bring you some highlights from the Manitou Days Parade and also talk a little bit about our big Heritage Days Parade that's coming up the second week of September, and show you some pictures of the past parades and encourage citizens to participate. And of course today with me I have Larry Lanou with me, and he's going to be my co-host, and we're going to be talking about that. So that's what we're going to be covering. And then of course we do have some, as usual, some political commentary to catch the citizens up with what's happening in the city of Grant. We don't have a lot of people that show up at City Hall, which is understandable because it's not air conditioned and it occasionally gets downright miserable. So we're going to try to bring some of the issues that have come up in this at the last meeting. So that's where we're going to start. So I think we're going to start off with, I believe we have a Manitou Days Parade that we can start with, and we'll show you that of the new float for the city of Grant we have, the participants have built.
I'd like to point out some positive things some of our citizens have been doing over the last couple months that have the intention of really promoting community pride with the city of Grant. Ken, can you bring up first picture? So Grant has a new town hall. It's about a little bit bigger than an outhouse. And it's on a float erected by a number of the Grant Recreation Project members. It's got advertising with our Grant Heritage Days Tractor Parade that's coming up the second Saturday in September, which is September 8th. It's also got advertising on the side of different sponsors for the tractor parade. We have a number of residents that rode in the White Bear Lake Manitou Parade. There's John David and Elizabeth, John Otto, and another smart person next to him, Mark Wojcik. The hit of the show was a pony trailing behind the float with a number of resident kids. Keith Mueller, who's been involved with promoting the tractor parade big time. Our friend Bob Engelhardt with John David sitting next to him. There's a good picture of Lauren, who donated his hay wagon, a couple of beauty queens, my wife on the right, Kim Wojcik on the right, or my wife on the left. Oh, Kim. Kim right, sorry, Mark. Another beauty queen, Bob Engelhardt, learning to wave in pure princess style. Yeah. Advertising for a number of us.
And where was this?
Again, this is the White Bear Lake Manitou Days Parade, which has about 8,000 residents. There's former Mayor David Black on the float, David and his son. So we had a number of people participating in this. And there's the guy that really did all the work building this whole float.
Pretty small. It looks like he's about 4.
Larry and his
Larry.
son. And there's my wife. Hold on this one just for a second. This is not showing just me and my wife. I want to point out Larry riding his horse in the back.
There it is. Got one.
And there's.
I left my ass at home.
Yeah. And there's the guy that drove the float through the parade route with some narrow streets and driving the tractor, trying to avoid driving on people's feet. That's Dees O'Brien.
Who is it? Give the guy some credit.
Brian?
Brian. Good job, Brian.
Yep. So.
Cool. Thanks.
That float also was in the Birchwood Parade a few days later, and now it's coming up also in which parade?
White Bear Parade.
Lots of parades.
White Bear Avenue Parade. So we're putting it around Grant. People are invited to contact the Grant Recreation Project and asked to ride on the float and promote our city.
Is it recreation or restaurant?
There we go. That went on at City Hall, that presentation. I thought it was a nice narrative. It shows you the new float that we have. We've had in a number of parades, and we've had some positive things. Now if we go to what I would like to do is encourage citizen participation in the city of Grant. It can be a neighborhood float, it can be riding a mini bike, an old antique tractor, and we have quite a few of those. But I want to give you ideas of what different residents have had. So if we could go to the scan converter, please, and put this up. Here's a float from Costa's Greenhouse, okay? And of course, it's a little more elaborate that they put on. Now there is an old Minneapolis Molinar that the gentleman restored, example. And you notice the pie plate on the front, that's the entry number. We even had a semi, and you can't see it terribly well, but they stacked it with hay bales and had people going in that. Ragtime Roadster, one of my neighbors, and that is a golf cart that's been converted to a little mini car, which is kind of fun. So you're seeing all kinds of different things here is the point I'm making. And there's Bill David in his beautifully restored 8N tractor. And he's got a flag, and looks like it might be a grain belt too. And here is the wagon from Laneau Stables. And there's that lovely combine in the background, as you notice. Here is a little 1959 TR3 Triumph, something that somebody wanted to ride in the parade. And here is another float. This is with the VFW Honor Guard. Now again, they don't have to be this elaborate. And you'll see as we go on, there are some other floats that, you know, are simpler. There is a restored 4x4 from World War II, which was kind of a hit. Beautiful restoration job. There is one of the first Chemstone cement trucks, and this is a real pioneer. I have never seen anything like this. I don't know if you have either, Larry. It's very unusual. This has got to be about 3940. I mean, this has to be one of the first actual ready-mix trucks.
You'll probably see more of those Chemstone trucks on the road today. They don't look like this one, but we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, this was a brand new concept to having a ready-mix on a truck back then. This was you know, just like when first computers came out. Okay, here's just a picture of a lineup of some of the tractors and things that were there. Okay, now here is a picture. One of the things we do is we start at the Gast House, and we go down the dirt road past Sawmill Golf Course, and we turn a corner, go by the narration station and also the judging station in front of the Grants Town Hall, which, by the way, was Wielanders School and was built in 1913, so it's 99 years old.
And don't confuse yourself with the float. That's just a replica of our float.
And then you'll see, the other thing I wanted to point out in this particular thing is how simple some of the floats are. Look at that Stonegate Farms, Stillwater, and they just have some kids riding. It looks like a snowmobile trailer or garden trailer. So this is just for fun. It isn't knockout competition, you know. Okay, there's a Segway. One year, Bill came on a Segway. When you think of two wheels, you always think of a bicycle, but this is a whole different sense. Kind of like a pogo stick on wheels without the bounce. Okay, and here is Hedberg's made a float, and they dressed it up a bit, and they're going to be doing that again this year, kind of one of our local businesses. And there's a couple tractors in the background, but I was pointing out in this, one of the kids brought his little mini bike, you know, and again, it's fun for all, young, old. That's the idea anyway.
One of the few days they can get out right on the road, and the Washington County Sheriff's there, and he's not bothering them.
Now here's another one. This is a Gator, obviously, and this is from 2 years ago, but I included this. This is how simple as it can be. Again, we're encouraging citizen participation. This is the whole idea behind what we're trying to do, is bring the community together like we don't. The kids go to two different schools in Grant. The west half goes to Mahtomedi, the east half goes to Stillwater. So we're naturally segregated, and we don't get a chance to socialize. So, you know, we're trying to bring them together in some form. Okay, here is a picture of some of the people eating. I think this is a 2010 parade. And you correct me on the numbers, Larry. We thought we were going to get 150, and how many people did we end up with?
Well, we bought food. We were hoping to get 100, and we bought food for 150, and we had to go back to the Gast House and get more. We fed nearly 300 people our first parade, and we doubled the second year.
Okay, here we are. And now actually we outgrew the town hall, so we have to do it at the Gast House. Again, here's another example of a neighborhood a float. This is for the 4-H'ers, and they have a rich tradition in the city of Grant. 4-H'ers have been around. 4-H has been there for 50 years. Imagine that. I mean, that's a long time. And again, it's something that I certainly champion, helping young people develop citizenship, social responsibility, and it's so important, and that's why many people move out to Grant, so their children can experience this. It sure beats them hanging around the mall, I tell you that. They learn a little bit about life and even death sometime if their pet bunny rabbit dies, you know.
4-H has been a great place to start our youth in participating in community events and giving back to the community. And as they grow up, raise their kids, they come back and they continue to be good citizens. We'd rather have 4-H painting our fences than sentence to serve.
Well, I had talked to a judge, and he said, you know, he says, he says, I can't remember that I've ever had a former 4-H kid in front of me. And I saw a statistic this week that 4-Hers are 60% more likely to continue their education than kids that didn't participate in that. Oh, wait a minute, let me get back to that little pony. There we go. There's a little horse riding the float. He's kind of the cute. He walked in the Manitou Days parade, and he was quite the hit. Okay, the second year we had first year we had an aerial ladder truck. The fire department came out, and I gave them my camera, and they went up, and this is the shot they took, which was kind of striking. Okay. This is Ray Hostiger. I used to work with him. He was the AV at White Bear High, and he made this replica, this horseless carriage, you know, from plans. And I thought that was kind of interesting. He drives it. Very nice man, I might add. This is a large cow, and I'm here to tell you that's no bull.
Yeah, you might have seen this one at the state fair.
Some people might call it utterly ridiculous, but I just call it a big cow. But that's something else that was in the parade. Here's a guy that's got a zooped-up lawnmower. How many people have zooped-up lawnmowers these days? Probably not a lot.
But if you have it, bring it over.
Yep. And again, we're trying to get diversity in the parade. This is a fun thing. It isn't serious. Here is the logo for the GRP. I just thought I'd throw that in there. You can see the rooster on the thing.
And the thing is, as the GRP was formed, it was there to protect, preserve, and promote our city. And it's a great opportunity to get involved, get out there, meet your neighbors, and meet some of the neighbors you haven't seen for several years.